in today's current climate, we have a few things going on in our world. But one of the main things that we are struggling with, that a lot of people are having a hard time talking about, is our hospitals in our world. Our hospitals have short staff, from doctors to janitors. They're still operating at full capacity even though they are short staffed. And while doctors are leaving and not being replaced as they once were, because people are no longer going to school, going to medical school for that long, and nurses are taking more or stressless jobs than they did before, we have found ourselves in a place where it gets hard to get some help nowadays. The pop-up of more patient first and other doctors' offices that allow doctors to see only certain patients, and the others they send way over to the hospital because it's beyond their scope and capabilities. We have all run into a problem sometimes when it comes to our doctor's visits, when it's better to cancel all your other plans rather than cancel your doctor's appointment. Where it's better for you to miss work than it is for you to cancel your doctor's appointment, because you don't know when the next time you'll be able to get in to see the doctor. It's better for you to do other stuff later, to put other stuff off, than it is for you to cancel your doctor's appointment, because you don't know what time frame the doctor office will give you. If you have a problem with transportation, you almost have to secure your transportation a month in advance in order for you to make sure you make it to that doctor's appointment. The healthcare industry is facing a trying time because there are just not enough people coming out of school wanting to go work in somebody's hospital. Now it has become a race to see how much money I can make rather than how many people I can help in the time that I have. But the question doesn't match up to the needs of the people. It does create quite a stir that we've seen. If we can be honest, COVID did help in this problem. COVID did change a lot of thoughts and mindsets of healthcare workers that we have working in the profession now. And it is things like that will make a person rethink their profession. I mean, when I was at the ER a while ago, I realized that I had watched a 2-hour-long service before I had been seen by an actual doctor. You know, now they will send the nurse practitioners in to get all the info to relay to the doctor. So all the doctor has to do is come in with a prescription and send you along your way. And if you have ever had to go to the hospital for any amount of time or any time recently, take note how long it takes for you to see an actual doctor. There's nurses at the front to welcome you in. There's nurses in the back to take your vitals. There's a nurse that will tell you where to go sit in the waiting area. A nurse to call your name when they need something from you. A nurse to take you for x-rays or MRI or a CAT scan if the machine is working, because sometimes they like the McDonald's ice cream machine. A nurse to tell you what they saw or what the doctor saw. A nurse if you have more questions. And then after all of that, you spent 4 hours of or more of your life in the ER. And the doctor comes in and talks to you for 5 to 10 minutes, sends you on your way with a piece of paper, and then you have a discharge nurse to come and tell you that you can leave. I can understand why so many people and doctors are turning to online and virtual assistants. Why WebMD has become a lot of our favorite Google spots. And virtual consultations have become a greater tool for some. But truth is, family, while the system has changed to make it easier and more efficient for the doctor, it makes it more frustrating and less intimate than having that time to sit and talk with your doctor. Matter of fact, I was told by a nurse when I hurt my leg, she told me, asked me what doctor I was going to see, and I told her, and she said, don't get upset that he comes in and leaves right out. She said he sees so many patients throughout the day that he is only there to tell you what is wrong and what you need to do and get you out. She said, but if you have any questions, make sure that you stop him in his tracks to let him know that you have questions about anything that's going on. And that is when my doctor came into the room, and I had to stop him because he literally did exactly what she said. He came in, gave me his name, told me what he saw, told me what needs to be done, and said, okay, is there anything else I can help you with? I had to stop him and said, well, what about this? I had a list of things, and we sat there for at least about 20 minutes, because once you get a doctor talking about certain stuff, they just keep going. And we sat there for about 20 minutes, and he looked at me and he said, thank you, because I've been going so long and I don't have an opportunity to tell the patients exactly what I need to tell them, or they don't ask the questions that they need to ask. So by this nurse telling me all of that inside information, I was able to spend some quality time with my doctor. But here we are, this crisis that we have in our hospitals, in our healthcare industry, is something that has become all too normal in today's time. It's also something that we see in our text this morning. There is a man who was not able to walk for 38 years, who was at the pool, dealing with his infirmities and incapable of getting in the water when the water was stirred by the angel, to the point that this version calls the man invalid. The man who's been paralyzed for 38 years, sitting by the pool because of his own condition, the Pool of Bethesda, which is actually like a sheep market. And here he is, and Jesus walks up and tells him, or asks him a question, do you want to get well? He needs the healing now. He's been waiting for 38 years in order to get healed. But when he was ready to get healed, he had nobody to help him. He was called invalid because of his condition. They were waiting at the pool and waiting for the water to be troubled on the Sabbath. But Jesus tells him to walk on the Sabbath. This is where we enter into our places where we have an issue where it's law versus divinity. But can I help you on this morning and let you know that your help is on the way? Because sometimes you just have to help yourself. Let me help you by understanding what the man shows us, in the text about ourselves. While we need each other, and sometimes your condition isn't changing or hasn't changed. It hasn't changed because sometimes you have to do something to help yourself. The man's plight was that he had no one to put him in the pool. For 38 years, you couldn't find one friend, two friends to lift you into the pool. Or maybe even one that don't like you. You just get them mad and they get mad and push you into the pool. You can't find nobody to push you into the pool. And Jesus' question was, do you want to get well? The man was worried about his incapability when all he had to do was say yes or no. It wasn't a question of what you had to do to get well. Jesus didn't ask what the doctors say. Jesus didn't ask who have you been talking to, who gave you a referral. The question asked was a simple yes or no question. Let's be honest, we overcomplicate things when we can't understand it. What's in it for you is some thoughts that we have when it comes to mind. What does the person get out of it from helping me? I got something to help you out with it, but I need something in return. Sometimes we make the answer harder than it has to be. Some of us can be so stubborn in our own healing because we are worried about what we don't have and what we think we should have in order to get healed. My PCP told me I need to do this. My cardiologist said I need to do this. My podiatrist said I have to do this. And when they're all saying the same things, but we make things more complicated than they need to be. Sometimes the way for you to get healed is for you to help yourself. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to go down this list because some of us need to hear it because we all have had the doctor tell us some things that we needed to do. And we all have left the doctor's office and shook our head and said, I ain't doing that. Doctor come in and tell you what medicine you need to take, and you didn't WebMD everything and said, I ain't taking that. And then you all coughing and hacking up stuff, all because you didn't want to take it. The doctor tell you all you need to do to get yourself back together is start walking for 20 or 30 minutes a day. The doctor tell you you got to cut out those fatty foods and turn down the salt on your food and eat some more greens. Sometimes some of us get so stressed out, we got time built up, but we don't want to take a day off because we're scared of what we're going to miss. Sometimes you have to help yourself stay out the drive-through. Okay, I thought the mic went out again. Thank you, Deke, for keeping it on for me. Sometimes you got to cook more at home than you do go out to buy food. Sometimes you actually got to drink the water and not just carry around the bottle. I know what y'all do. Y'all go and buy those pretty bottles and y'all fill it with water and it be at the same line it was earlier that morning. Sometimes you have to help yourself to fast and pray. Sometimes you have to laugh more. Sometimes you have to stop talking about people. Sometimes you got to stay off of social media because whatever it is that you got to do, you got to help yourself. Jesus was explaining to the man as he asked the question, do you want to get well? I don't know how you read or how you hear stuff when you read it, but I could just see Jesus standing there over the man as he's laying there and he looking at him and thinking to himself, this has been 38 years and you just been laying here. Do you even want to get well, or are you satisfied with where you are? So here's what the scripture teaches us about ourselves. And as Jesus asks us the question, do you want to get well? Do you want to be healed? Do you want to have joy? Do you want to have peace? Do you want to have everything that you're praying for? Do you want God to show up when you don't think do you want to get healed? I love the way the King James Version says it. It says, he asked the man, do you want to be made whole? Do you want your life to be made whole? But sometimes we so stubborn. We'll sit there for years not wanting to do what we need to do. So that's what the man showed us about ourselves in the text. But let me tell you what the man showed us about Jesus in the text. Jesus asked the man one simple question. He said, do you want to get well? That's it. It wasn't no strings attached. It was a simple yes or no question. Do you want to be well? The man shows us that Jesus is being personal and intimate with him. The place where the man was is a marketplace, and almost was a marketplace. Almost is where the sheep go to be sold or to be marketed in that area. It's also a place where sacrifices are washed and are sacrificed for that time. There's a covered porch right there that people go into, and they come and they sit and they wait for the water to be stirred, to be troubled. And it's also a place where people come, they get there and they change their clothes in preparation for what they're about to do. Remember what the text told us, that it was three types of people that came to these pools. It was the blind, the lame, and the paralyzed. The blind needed help getting there. The lame needed help getting there. The paralyzed needed help getting there. This man had been there for 38 years, waiting to get in the pool, which means that this man has saw others go in the pool and get healed. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. He has seen the waters troubled. He has witnessed others getting what they needed from the pool. But he is what is considered the senior of the group. He's the longest tenured person there. And while Jesus could have walked by and simply touched people and healed them, he walked past everybody else, and came directly to the man. I don't want you to miss it. He's been there for 38 years. And these people have been coming to this pool. He knows the pool will get troubled. He knows the pool will get stirred, and he just needs somebody to put him in. He done seen people get in and come out a different way, and he's seen all of these things. And here comes Jesus walking past everybody else that needs healing and come directly to him. Came directly to the man, doesn't say anything, don't touch nobody on the way. He doesn't say, doesn't speak to anyone else. He walks right to the man. Now, he may have brushed up against somebody, and somebody may have gotten their healing just from touching him. But look at what the man teaches us about Jesus. Jesus walked right up to the man, didn't touch him, didn't help him up. He's lying there watching the water, watching others get in and out the water. Jesus walks up to him, asks him a question that will change his life, and Jesus, get this, lets him complain. Don't miss it. Don't miss it, because a lot of times Jesus will show up in your life and ask you a simple question, and the very next thing that comes out of your mouth is a complaint. The very next thing that comes out of your mouth is what you're struggling with. The very next thing that comes out of your mouth is, how is it going to be done? You are overcomplicating everything, and that's not why Jesus came and asked a simple yes or no. Do you want to be made well? This is how some of us miss it in our own lives, by doing just what this man does. But Jesus lets him complain. Doesn't even address the man's complaints. You have to be weary of those people who are willing to sit there and listen to you complain. You have to be wary of those that address the complaints more than the problem, because if the problem was able to be fixed, I wouldn't have the complaints that I have. The man shows us that Jesus, in his all-knowing self, is not going to just listen to you complain. Jesus is there to fix the issue and not the complaints that come with the issue. Let me see if I can give it to you again. Jesus asked the man complains, Jesus solves the issue, and the man has no other complaints to give. Watch this. Now that the man has no complaints, the people who saw this now had complaints as to why the man wasn't complaining. Y'all know anybody like that? Look at me, look at me, look at me. Don't look around. When you have nothing to talk about, people are going to complain as to why you have nothing to talk about. Jesus sets the man free of his complaints by now making the complaint about the man. Jesus created a shift in this whole story, because when you stop complaining because of what God did in your life, you have now given them something else to talk about, which is the one who took your complaints away. Let me pause here and just let somebody know, to help somebody understand that a lot of us don't help ourselves because we like being the focus of the talk. I'm just giving you what the Lord gave me. It's bad when you would rather be the talk and the focus rather than Jesus being the talk and the focus. Some of us got to get out of our flesh and get out of our own way so that others can see what God will and can do. But we're too busy being busy that you can't get your healing because you don't want people to stop talking about you. So don't take the medicine because you say the Lord's going to heal you. But what the doctors tell you to do is what God sets you up to get healed. Okay? But you don't want to lose your spot in the talk of the town race and keep running that race, and your race will be over before it even gets started. The man shows us that even after he complained about what he didn't have, Jesus told him, pick up your mat and walk. The only way the man gets healed is by doing what Jesus told him to do. Because once Jesus uttered those words out his mouth, it says that at once the man was cured. And he picked up his mat and walked. Some of us got to understand when Jesus speaks, now you have to put the action behind the words. Help yourself. The man shows us about us. He shows us about Jesus. Now let me help you understand what Jesus shows us about ourselves in the text. Y'all ready? Okay. Here we have the man lying at the pool as he's done for 38 years. It doesn't say how he got that way. It doesn't say that he was like this from birth. What we know is that he is the longest tenured person there waiting for the waters to be stirred. Here comes Jesus walking through all the people, and Jesus sees this man. Jesus doesn't ask what his name is. There's no small talk at all between the man and Jesus. Jesus is there with one purpose, and that is to use the man so that others will know who he is. Notice what Jesus shows us about the man. Again, he asked that one question to the man, and again, King James Version says, do you want to be made whole? The man goes into a monologue about his issues and why he is that way. Jesus tells him what to do to be made whole. And when he does what Jesus says, he's made whole. Enter the church folk. I mean, the Jewish leaders. It's the Sabbath. The law forbids you to carry your mat on a Sunday, on a Sabbath. They know who the man is. They walked past him and probably didn't try and help the man get in the pool. They know what his issues are. The next thing that comes out of their mouth is the concerns about the law. The next thing they say is not about what happened to the man, but it's about the law that the man is breaking. They wanted to know who told him to pick up his mat and walk. I like this, family, because Jesus holds up a mirror to us and shows us how we are sometimes. You're more concerned about what they are doing rather than what they are not doing anymore. Okay. You're more concerned about what the law says rather than what the word says. You're more concerned about why they are doing it rather than Jesus doing it for them. Their prayers have been answered, but we want to know how their prayers got answered. We want to know who did it for them, and we want to know why they did it for them, and then we want to stick our foot into the mess and say, well, they wouldn't have got that way if I had to help them. We try to get the credit for helping them instead of allowing God to get the full credit that he deserves. And even when we say we're happy for them, we still have to mention that it wasn't done the right way because of what the law says. If God did it and you say you believe what you say you believe, then God is above any law. So if God did it for them, I'm going to celebrate them, because if he did it for them, I know he can do it for me. Jesus shows us exactly how we can be sometimes. But then Jesus shows us not only ourselves, but Jesus shows himself to us in the text. Don't miss it. I'm almost done. We can go home after this. This is what Jesus shows us about himself. The man showed us what the text was about, what the text says about how we need to help ourselves. The man showed us what the text says about Jesus and how we're more concerned about people than we are him. Jesus showed us what the text says about us and how we're so fashioned on the law and not so much on Christ. But now let's see what Jesus shows us what the text says about himself. Jesus goes to Bethesda, where the blind, the lame, and the paralyzed were waiting for the pool to be troubled. Jesus walks past all the other blind, lame, and paralyzed folk that were there. Jesus goes to this one man who had been there the longest. This man had an issue of lameness or was paralyzed for 38 years. This man had been passed over. He had been walked over. This man had been left to fend for himself to get in the pool. And every time he tried, someone would go ahead of him and get in the pool before he could. He has watched everyone get blessed. He has watched everyone get healed. He has watched everyone get delivered. And here he was doing the same old thing that he had done before, hoping and praying and wishing that he would have someone to get him in the pool. Watch this. And after nearly 40 years of waiting, hoping and wishing, Jesus shows up on the scene. Walks past everybody, comes straight to him and asks him a question. Do you want to get well? Do you want to be made whole? And maybe you missed it. So let me try it again so you can understand the severity of the man's case. The man was sitting there for 38 years at the pool. Jesus comes to the pool, walks past everybody that was blind, lame, and paralyzed. Even though he could have healed everybody, he walks past the blind, the lame, and the paralyzed. Comes directly to the man. Ask him one question. Do you want to be well? Do you want to be made whole? And the man complained. And Jesus is talking directly to the man. They say the third time's a charm. I'm going to try it one more time, Sade. Jesus was walking to the pool. The man had been there for 38 years, trustee. And for 38 years, he had laid there and did the same old thing, wishing and hoping and praying that somebody would help him in the pool, push him in the pool, kick him in the pool, whatever, to get him in the pool. Nobody did it. Jesus came, walked past everybody that was blind, lame, and paralyzed, came straight to the man, asked him a question, and the question was, do you want to be made whole? Here's what I'm telling you. I know it seems like it's been a long time. I know it seems like you have no help. I know it seems like you just can't quite make it. But when Jesus shows up on the scene, he's not coming to show up in your situation because someone else was there. He's not coming to your address because someone came and got him and brought him there. He's not showing up on your job because of what someone else said. He's showing up and coming straight to you. It doesn't matter who's there. It doesn't matter about the crowds. It doesn't matter what day of the week it is. It doesn't matter what you have on. It doesn't matter where you are. It don't matter who you're on the phone with. It doesn't matter how long you've been laying there. And it doesn't matter what has been said about your situation. When Jesus shows up, he's coming to do the Father's work. And since you are his masterpiece, he's going to make sure that you get what you need. Jesus shows up and makes everything just as he said he would. And I know it may have been 10 years. I know you've been praying about the same thing for 20 years. I know it's been about 30, 40, or 50 years. But Jesus asks you one question. Do you want to get well? Well in your mind, well in your body, well in your soul, well in your heart. And I like the King James Version because it asks if he wants to be made whole, which means that every part of your life that you've been dealing with, Jesus will make it whole. And all you have to do is help yourself. And after you get well, I need you to see this next part. Because after the man gets well, the man decides to go somewhere. And after he goes somewhere, he gets stopped by the Jewish leaders. They say, who told you to pick up your mat and walk? The man didn't know it was Jesus. But he told them there's a man that I have run into that told me to pick up my mat and to walk. And the leaders say, don't you know that it's the Sabbath and the law prohibits you from walking with your mat? They not concerned that the man was laying down and now walking. They weren't concerned about what the man had been through. They were concerned about the law. But come here, let me show you where Jesus finds the man. He comes to the man. The man is in the temple giving God praise for what he's been through, giving God praise for what he's come out of, giving God praise for how he made a way out of no way, a bridge over troubled water. He touched me and my life became better. He touched me and my life became well. Anybody glad about that Jesus showed up in their life? Jesus showed up in their way. Jesus showed up and asked you, do you want to be made well? Do you want to be made whole? I wish I had one witness that knows when Jesus shows up, it don't matter what I've been through. It don't matter what's been said. It don't matter what has happened. All I know, Jesus showed up. Jesus showed up. Jesus showed up. Jesus, 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 Jesus. That name is above every name. And I don't care what you're going through. When Jesus steps in, when Jesus steps in, when Jesus steps in, everything will be all right. Say yeah. I'm so happy that he decided to walk past everybody else and come straight to me and say, Justin, do you want to be made well? And so when Jesus stepped in, I will bless the Lord at all times, and his praise shall continually be in my mouth. And since he showed up, you won't make me shut up, because I know too much about him. You can lay there for as long as you want to. But you gotta learn. Help yourself. Help yourself. Don't miss the opportunity when Jesus steps on the scene. Hey, it may not come the way you thought it was going to come, but when he steps in, it's one thing he's coming for. Do you want to get well? Do you want to be made whole? And this is what I learned about the text. Jesus was asking him, does he want to be made whole? Does he want to get well? Not to insult the man's intelligence, but to let him know, I can do it. I can do it. I just need to know from you. Do you want? You can sit there and talk about it all you want to. You can sit there and say you prayed about it and all of this stuff. But saying it is one thing. But you got to help yourself. I can do it. That's what Jesus tells him. You got to help yourself.